the material body did not. Pawan Prabhu, are you there?
Yes, Prabhu, recording, Prabhu.
Is recording going on? Some message came pop up on screen happened.
Just now I record started.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought recorded stop, I was thinking. Um, so, yeah, what I was thinking. What did I say last? Okay, so this material body is the one that is being engaged by the spirit soul to do the worship. Simple. I want to stitch dress for Krishna. The spirit soul, without possessing a body, it cannot perform that act. It should possess a spiritual body or material body. Okay. So, without this material body, the practice of spirituality, at least for our context, people living in the material world, cannot be done. And hence, Parikshit Maharaj begins his questions from material activities. What are all the material activities? How creation began? Things like that. So you can understand that the material body or the material opulence we possess, it is not that they are waste. It is not that they're inferior. It is not that they are anti-Krishna conscious. No. You use them to learn the higher dimensions of Krishna consciousness. Right? If you don't have hands, how will I cook for the Lord? If you don't have ears, how will I hear the glories of the Lord? So that's the point. Okay. So let's read these two slokas, 11 and 12, and we can understand Devata worship, how they can conclude. Okay. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadadi Swapadandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sakagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sakagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, welcome on. So 3.1. Yetavan yeva yajatam iha nishreya sodayah bhagavati achalo bhavo yad bhagavato sangataha. All different kinds of worshippers of multi-demigods can attain highest perfectional benediction, which is spontaneous attraction, unflinchingly fixed upon Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by the association of pure devotees of the Lord. Okay? So what is the sloka is trying to tell? It's trying to tell us that if you have been worshipping demigods, you can still achieve love of Godhead by worshipping Krishna. Is that enough? No. Only by associating with the devotees of the Lord. When we associate with pure devotees of the Lord, then we can get unflinching love and faith for Krishna. Without associating with pure devotees of the Lord, you cannot be able to come out of the demigod worship. That is the point. So, hence, when we speak to devotees, we try to get them to the platform. We ask them to come to temple. Why we ask them to come to temple is in temple you will see many sannyasis, may visiting guests coming. A lot of pure devotees come, so they will get a chance to associate with them, right? Once they get a chance to associate with them, their life will become perfect. Okay, and this is the opportunity. Now, there was one pastime that happened some few years back. So we were driving His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj in the car. In fact, I was driving. So while we were driving, suddenly Guru Maharaj told, I want to drink tender coconut. Okay. Then we were just searching and suddenly we found one. And then we did not get on from the car. I took the car very close to the tender coconut person. And we asked him to cut the tender coconut. He shaved the tender coconut and then he opened it and then gave it to Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj drank only a little bit. He didn't drink more. And people in the car, we were thinking Guru Maharaj will give it to us, we'll drink the balance. There was one lady, I think she was mostly from the northeastern region. She was looking like Assam, Manipali, something like that. I don't know. Looks like that. So she was just standing there and probably she came to drink the tender coconut. I don't know. So Guru Maharaj, after drinking some, he called her and said, come on, you drink. And he gave that to her. I was just shocked. What Ajnata Sukriti that lady has. That Guru Maharaj personally called her and gave that tender coconut and then she drank the balance. And she said, thank you. And she drank the balance. So you see, when there is mercy of devotee, Lord makes that arrangement. And I'm sure she drank the tender coconut. I'm sure that sometime in her life she's going to bring up excellent devotion service. She will become a devotee. There's no doubt about it. Right? See, that's the beauty of association of pure devotee. We don't know how, when their mercy will make us transcendent. That's the point you need to understand. See, all of us are struggling from these three modes of material nature, which is very clear. Now, struggling here, even though we are struggling, what are we trying to do here? We're trying to see how best I can change my struggle so that I live happily. And we keep engaging ourselves more and more, more and more, more and more into material activities. Okay? So this is called will o' the wisp. That's the spell of magic of the material enjoyment. We want to enjoy this material world. So we try many activities to make ourselves comfortable in this material. So man proposes, God disposes. Right? So when we do demigod worship, what are we trying to do? We are trying to increase our material benedictions. That's what demigod worship leads to. Spiritual transcendental worship leads to opposite of the material worship. Right? The simplest example is a man was having a dog. The dog suddenly ran away from his hand. The dog started to run in the eastern direction. But the man, in order to catch the dog back, he started to run in the western direction. Can he ever catch the dog? No. So similarly, if the material activities are in a particular direction, the spiritual activities are in the opposite direction. By continuing to run on the material direction, you can never achieve the love of God. It may look like things are going good for you, but time is the answer. You will see after many years of progress, we will only develop material attraction. We will not develop attraction for the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. So, how do we understand these two subject matters? Our material activities should we should be aimed to relieve us so that we can give more time on spiritual platform. If our material activities they become stronger and parallel to spiritual activities, you will see they would cause a problem. This is what is the most important thing that you have to understand. And material activities are benedictions of Iha Devatas. Look at this highlight. Yanti Deva Vratan Devan Pitr Nayanti Pitravatah Bhutani Yanti Bhuteja Yanti Matyajinopi Ma. The worshippers of demigod reach the respective planets of demigods. We understood that as a discussion in the previous class, right? Just like how we have our own houses, the demigods also have their houses. Our houses may be 5,000 square feet in size, but demigods' houses are planets. The big, like they own a village, they own a city, like that it is, right? So, after leaving the body in this house that we are currently living, we will take birth in the house of the demigods in their planets. That's what it means. When we take birth, then what happens? We are automatically servants of the demigod. And when Brahmaji's kalpa, one kalpa is 1000 chaturvihas. 1000 chaturvihas is divided by 72, which gives you 14 manvantras. Manvantara is the time period. That means a demigod planet will get destroyed and the new Jivatma will become the demigod. He'll get promoted. So, whatever we aspire to reach that planet of demigod by our demigod worship will again cease to exist. It's a short period of time. It's equivalent to we saying, okay, Prabhuji, I am in Sheshadripuram today. After 5 years, the household said, oh, no, no, you can't live in this house. I want the house back. You please leave. Then I moved to Kormangala. Then I moved to Jayanagar. So that is how life is. So demigod worship is temporary. Okay? And the worshippers of forefather reach the planet of the forefathers. Right? So forefathers are our Pitrus. So where is the planet of Pitrus? The planet of Pitrus is below the Pitraloka. That is below the Pataloka. So that means we have upper planetary system, middle planetary system, Martyaloka, the lower planetary system. Below the lower planetary system, the dark planets, is the Pitrus. So if you worship the Pitrus, what do you mean by worship the Pitrus? Let's understand that very clearly. Worship of the Pitrus does not mean, oh, no, don't care for the parents, throw them away and things. No, that's not what it means. It means that you must have seen many people that they think that they got this life because of their forefathers. Okay, whatever opulent life they got, education, body, life, whatever it may be. And they keep doing all good things to please the forefathers. So that is called Pitru worship. Doing Shraddha is not Pitru worship. Taking care of your parents is not Pitru worship. It is your duty. Okay, so do not worship, mix that with Pitru worship. Pitru worship means worshipping the forefathers who have left their bodies and thinking that they are the one who benedict you. Okay, the gross materials remains in the different material planets, but the devotees of the Lord reach the kingdom of God. So, by worshipping Supreme Lord Krishna, we now do not reach the demigod planet. We reach the Vaikuntha planet. That is the planet where our Supreme Lord Krishna resides. So, worship of demigods is not a great idea. Worship of Supreme Personal God is the best idea. That's what Sukadeva Goswami is confirming here. So, there are lots of philosophers, speculators, who search for knowledge. Is this correct? Hey, you are asking me to chant Hare Krishna mantra. Is this correct? Okay. You are asking to go to this temple, Ranganatha temple. Is this correct? You are asking to read this Veda Shastra book. Is it correct? They will never come to conclusion. Such speculating philosophers who do not come to any conclusion, they are being delivered by the Supreme Lord by His causeless mercy. In somewhere in the speculation, if they take the book of Srimad Bhagavatam and then read it, they get delivered. That is the beauty. When such hard-hearted philosophers can be delivered, Why not the demigod worshipper is what Sukadeva Goswami is concluding. Okay, so that's what the sloka is trying to tell. So 12, 11 and 12 is trying to conclude to us that demigod worship as such, we can't say it's bad or good, but it will not give you the ultimate result. The ultimate result is to worship of Krishna. Now the question is, Maharaj Parikshit is asking, hey, someone to change their demigod worshipper who they worship in their life, how can they change? And hence this sloka has been given, which is 11, 12, which says that when such hardened philosophers can change their consciousness and become devotees of Krishna, why not the demigod worshippers? The first class devotee of the Lord attains this stage of devotion service, but despite his loftiness, for the Lord's satisfaction, he may play the voluntary part of a preacher of the Lord's glory and dovetail all into devotion service, even mundane interest, just to give the neophytes a chance to transform mundane interest into transcendental bliss. Srila Rupa Goswami has described this action of pure devotion as Nirbande Krishna Sambandhe, Yukta Vairagyam Uchyate. Even mundane activities dovetail with service of the Lord are also calculated to be transcendental or approved as Kaivalya. Here, Kaivalya refers to any service done to Lord Narayana is called Kaivalya, because Kaivalya here refers to something transcendental. Now, the focus is personality of Godhead, hence the Kaivalya refers to personal service to Lord Narayana. It does not refer to that impersonal aspiration or liberation. Okay. So, the conclusion is very simple. The conclusion is that even neophytes, even demigod worshippers, even philosophers, whoever it may be, if they have done wrong practices in the past, just by worshipping Supreme Personal Godhead, they can perfect their life. They can convert their material mundane activities into spiritual activities. So that's the conclusion that has been given here. Now we'll go to the next subject matter. From Sloka 13 onwards, we will go to the next subject matter, which is talking about the rishis of Naimisharanya are inspiring Sutta Goswami. Please tell us more. Please tell us more what questions did Maharaj Parikshit asked. Their eagerness to hear, their, thirst for Srimad Bhagavatam has increased much more. Now let us see. It's a very, very beautiful sloka. We'll just recite this. Shaunaka Uvacha. So Shaunaka is the one who's representing the sages. So hence, as a representative, is asking that question. Iti abhivyahartam raja nishamya baradarshava kim manyat pristavan bhuyo vaya shakim rishim kavim. Shaunaka said, O son of Vyasadeva, Srila Sukadeva Goswami was a highly learned sage and was able to describe things in a poetic manner. What did Maharaj Parikshit again inquire from him after hearing all that he said? Right. So that's the inquiry. Now let's read this purport. This purport is a little bit interesting. A pure devotee of the Lord automatically develops all godly qualities. That's an important statement you have to understand. When a person worships Supreme Personal Godhead, because of the crossless mercy and reciprocatory nature of the Lord, he also gets divine qualities of the Lord. Now, here it is mentioned what are the divine qualities he will get. We'll read that. He is kind, he is peaceful, he is truthful, he is equable. That means he is everyone with equality. He is faultless, he is magnanimous. He's talking about devotees, huh? Mild, clean, non possessive, a well wisher of all. He is well satisfied. He is surrendered to Krishna without hankering. Simple, fixed, self controlled. A balanced eater. Sane. Sane means proper thinker. Mannerly, respectful. Prideless. He is grave. He is sympathetic. He is friendly. He is also poetic. He is an expert and he is silent. You see, the 26 prominent features of devotees are mentioned here. Now imagine if you have to go and cultivate such qualities, how many courses you will attend And how many examples and training you will attend to get that? Impossible. You will never get that. But just by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, just by offering something for the pleasure of the Lord, making simple things in your life, you will see that you will attain or slowly cultivate these qualities in you. You may have a lot of material qualities opposite of this. For example, mannerly. Mannerly means respectfulness. You may have very disrespectful, aggressive, unparliamentary behavior with others. But by you practicing devotion, what will happen? Those qualities that you had negative will become mannerly in aspect. See what devotion service do to you. You may have a lot of pride in you. Oh, I am the doer. I am the controller. I am the richest man. I am the strongest man. I am the most beautiful person. You may have all those qualities with you. But when you practice devotion, what happens? You become prideless. You'll feel very ordinary. You'll feel everything that I have is the mercy of the Lord. If I'm doing great things in this world, Lord is using me as an instrument. I'm not the possessor of this place. I'm a visitor to this place. So that's the quality one will get. Now, the Acharya concludes that by not becoming a devotee of the Lord, exactly all these 26 qualities talked about will not manifest in us. We will become greedy and we'll demonstrate non friendly qualities with others. And when we develop non friendly qualities, what happens? We fight with others. Why? Non devotional qualities, non divine qualities means animalistic consciousness. What do animals do? For example, a tiger sees a deer. Will it say, "Oh, you have such a soft body. Why will I kill you? I will not hurt you. I will leave you. I'll spare you." Does it say that? No. It is merciless. Just goes and slashes it, kills it, and eats it. So, materialistic qualities become materialistically competitive and self centered and leads to quarrel and fights. That's why you see this world is a material world, and you see people keep fighting. Countries fight, individuals fight, governments fight, armies fight, everyone fights. Families fight, individuals fight, right? But on devotees, they understand these things. They have developed divine qualities. Some may develop fully, some may partially develop, some may yet to develop. That's okay. But you'll see the cooperative nature among devotees will increase far superior. Now look at these qualities. He says, described by Krishnadas Kaviraj in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the qualification of being poetic is especially mentioned here in relation to Sukadeva Goswami. So I'll talk about this poetic quality. It's very, very interesting. I'll give you one pastime. Sukadeva Goswami is a great, Rupa Goswami is a great writer of books, right? He writes lots of books. And in one of his books, his books are called Chitra Kavitvane. Chitra Kavitvane means if, let's say, Radha and Krishna are performing a pastime, he will represent them in a picture format. And the picture format will be represented in such a manner that it look like, there is a song composed out of it, right? That's how Rupa Goswami's articulations are. He will write the lotus feet of Krishna. He will write the earring of Radharani. He'll write one compilation. The compilation of earring will be so beautiful that you will see how pure love is outpouring. That's the works of Rupa Goswami. I've read some of his books, not detailedly, only a little bit, but I'll give you some snippets from some of his books, just for your understanding. You all know there is a place called Ter Kadamba in Vrindavan, right? Most of you have gone there, I suppose. Okay. This Ter Kadamba is a great place. And Rupa Goswami wrote many books in Ter Kadamba. So, once what happened in Ter Kadamba, Rupa Goswami wrote a book which is highlighting the love and separation. That means Radha and Krishna got separated. And because of that, love manifested so deeply. And when separation happened, what happens? The gopis cried. Krishna cried. Right? For example, there's a place called Prem Sarovar. Prem Sarovar is all that only, right? So how the tears came from Radha, how the tears came from the gopis, how tears came from Krishna. So similarly, he's writing this compilation. When he wrote the compilation, this Kadamba tree, which is in Ter Kadamba, which is very dear to Krishna, right? This Kadamba tree felt that everything is lost. So what had happened? Immediately, all the leaves in the Kadamba tree started to shred. Just like how the tears shredded from the eyes of Srimati Radharani. Right? Because Rupa Goswami wrote uh, the love in separation pastimes. He wrote, for example, love in separation pastime is Krishna leaving Vrindavan and going. Right? So even the tree manifested those symptoms. All the leaves shred. Then after that, he writes later on, when the season changed, when time came into effect. Rupa Goswami writes that Radha and Krishna united again. Right? Maybe there was one gopi who played the role of unification. So when Radha Krishna united again, the love blossomed, the love cherished. What happened? Immediately, this Kadamba tree in Ter Kadamba, it started to chigre antaralla, sprouting, new leaves sprouting, new shoots sprouting. And some of the buds started to open up. They became bigger in size. So, just by reading that literature, what Rupa Goswami wrote, the Kadamba trees also demonstrated life like that. And this is one of the actually glory of their Kadamba, right? So you see how poetic these expressions are by Rupa Goswami, that they attracted even these trees around in their Kadamba. That is the glory of devotees. That's what the devotees outpour their heart with emotions and love for Krishna and Radha. So when Radhika heard this, when Rupa Goswami writes this literature, when he reads it, Radhika hears it. And what Radharani does, she calls all her gopis and says, hey, look, he writes about the beauty of my anklet. He writes the beauty of Krishna's cheeks. He writes the beauty of Krishna's earrings. He writes the beauty of Krishna's lips. She goes and glorifies the writings of Rupa Goswami to her friends about Krishna. See, this is how an expert poetician like Rupa Goswami is all about. And here the author, Sutta Goswami, is telling, look at this line here. Read this line here. This is very brilliant. It says, the presentation of Srimad Bhagavatam by his recitation is the highest poetic contribution. Whose? Sukadeva Goswami's. He was self-realized learned sage. In other words, he was a poet among the sages. So, this pastimes of the Lord, he narrated in such a poetic format, and that's what he presented to Parikshit Maharaj. And hence it attracted him so much. So this is divine life. This is the glory. Okay? Are you all on same page with me, or I'm somewhere else?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Are you liking it, or?
Yes, Prabhu.
We are understanding.
Certainly, Prabhu. Certainly.
Okay, good, good. Thank you. Okay, so now let's go to the next sloka 14. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, we were completely absorbed in your explanation and we were also relating to that.
It's very good, no? See, when we went to Ter Kadamba, that one Kshetra Sannyasi, he used to be living there and he used to explain, no? What pastimes he used to narrate, right? He used to generally narrate the flute pastimes, right?
Correct.
How he used to call the cows, and
Cows.
how the cows were made into groups, and then one leader, and then sub leaders. How
Correct.
how Krishna used to connect with them. It was really amazing, right?
Yes.
So like that, you can see the higher the practice of devotion that we get into, we will not spend our time on material activities. Again and again, into deeper and deeper material activities. We should first get rid of this profiteering mentality. Okay. Somehow profit from my material activities. No, I'm not saying not to earn money. Profiteering mentality leads you to unsatisfaction of whatever you do in material. You want to do more, 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 more. How much ever you have, it's not enough for you. One of the qualities of devotion is be satisfied. Okay, whatever we have, let's be satisfied. If I don't have it, no problem. It doesn't matter. Because my goal is, I have to experience this devotion. Whatever Rupa Goswami is experiencing devotion, we are Rupanugas. We recite the prayer, no? We recite the prayer every day in the morning. We are Rupanugas. And if I'm a Rupanuga, if I'm not going to experience this nectar, this poetic nectar, then what is there in my life? Then why I should call myself Rupanuga? If I'm going to really experience that poetic prayers, how can I keep on doing material activities and keep doing it? That's why I gave the example of the West and the East. Right? So think. I want all of you to think. Okay. Now let's go to sloka number 14. Etak chushusatam vidvan suto no arhasi bhashitum kata hari kato darkaha satam suyo sadashi dhruvam. Oh, learned Sudha Goswami, please continue to explain such topics to us because we are all eager to hear. See, that is very important for the quality of the speaker also. If the quality of the speaker is good, he will bring the nectar, he will churn the nectar out of devotion. If the quality of the speaker is not good, then the nectar of devotion doesn't come out. That's the point you have to understand. Okay? Now, let's take one important topic. Okay, let's complete this translation. Besides the topic which result in discussion of Lord Hari, should certainly be discussed in assembly of devotees. Now, let's take about this one important topic. Right? We know the sloka, nectar of instruction, tadadi pratigranati. Now, what does the sloka talks about? It talks about 6 loving exchanges. In that, there is 2 of them which says that one should reveal their heart to a Vaishnava and they should exchange heart-to-heart discussion. Okay. Now, what does this mean in general is, it means that how we associate with others, right? Now, for example, let's say I associate with a junior, I'll generally tell them that, hey, do this, Prabhu, that's it. Okay, nothing beyond it. But I associate with someone of my equality, then you see, generally there is a competitive mentality. What is a competitive mentality? Oh, hey, that Mataji is doing it, I will also do. Whether I am having skill or not, whether I have taste or not, but I want to do. Hey, that Mataji is singing, I'll also learn that song. See, we get influenced and we also influence on equalities, right? So, when Rupa Goswami is telling, reveal your heart, this is how revelation happens. Now, in both cases of dealing with a junior, dealing with equality, you will see you will be able to be okay because you will influence and you'll also get influenced. But we should be very careful about getting influenced. Okay. But the third situation is when we're dealing with seniors. When we're dealing with seniors, the tendency is the seniors will influence us. They'll tell us this is what it is. Now, there's no problem. If the seniors are influencing, it's no problem. But the problem is when the seniors are not practicing proper devotion. Right? Now, let's say we are interacting with a senior and his devotion practices are non-competent. Then the incompetency in his devotion will become an influencing factor by the senior on us. And that's dangerous. That's why it is generally said that take instructions from a renounced order. A renounced order means who does not practice many materialistic activities. 90% he will practice spiritual activities, only 10% here and there will be material. That is for maintenance and other purposes and things like that. So, we choose the renounced order as a person to influence us, then what happens? The influence will not go wrong on us. But we get influenced by a materialistically motivated person, then that influence is bad for us. So that's what is an important point that we need to understand. And hence, what it says Harikatha must be discussed among the assembly of devotees. And in the assembly of devotees, it must be a combination of junior and senior devotees, and together they should discuss Harikatha. If Harikatha is not discussed in a non-assembly of devotees, then that results to an improper understanding of the subject matter. Right? So if you read this purport, there are many literatures, right? Starting with the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, then we have itihasas like Ramayana, Mahabharata. Then we have, other, Vedas like the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatham. So we should always discuss these topics in association of devotees. If we discuss any of these things with non-devotees, then that influence will disturb our mind. And that's the whole point that the subject matter is talking about. Okay, so let's read this conclusion. Srimad Bhagavatam begins from the history of Pandavas with necessary politics and social activities. And yet Srimad Bhagavatam is said to be the Paramahamsa Samhita. Samhita means literatures written in the formats of song. Brahma Samhita. Brahma Samhita means glorifications done by Brahmaji in the form of song on the Supreme Lord Krishna. That's called Samhita. So Paramahamsa Samhita means Paramahamsa refers to Hamsa. Hamsa refers to swan, where they can distinguish milk from water. Now, what does that milk and water refers to us? It refers to what is divine and what is materialistic. So, even though a devotee may hear materialistic thoughts, ideas, he may hear materialistic viewpoints, and he will also hear Srimad Bhagavatam. What does he do? He clearly identifies the difference between materialistic instructions and spiritual instruction. He will throw the materialistic instruction, but he'll only observe the spiritual. That is the glory of a devotee. And hence he is called Paramahamsa. So Paramahamsa Samhita means such a realized person, Paramahamsa, is now reciting glories of Krishna in the form of a song, and that is Sukadeva Goswami. And his literature is Srimad Bhagavatam. So hence this becomes a pure literature about the Lord. Okay, hence it says, it's called the topmost transcendental literature. It is called as Param Jnanam, the highest transcendental knowledge. Okay, pure devotees of the Lord are all called Paramahamsa, and they are like swans who know the art of sucking milk out of mixture of milk and water. Similarly, the devotees do not get disturbed by the materialistic actions and thoughts. They may hear it, they may be part of it, but they are undisturbed. They only are focused on devotion. News, devotional thoughts, devotional activities, devotional prayers. Okay, that's the conclusion of 14. Now let's look at sloka number 15. Maharaj Parikshit, the grandson of the Pandavas, was from his very childhood a great devotee of the Lord. Even while playing with dolls, he used to worship Lord Krishna by imitating the worship of the family deity. Now you see the position of Maharaj Parikshit. Now, if we say, Prabhu, a student was sent to Gurukul, he was taught the Veda Shastra. Then by learning all the Veda Shastra, slowly he practiced devotion. Then he was made a devotee. See, that is one path. That means that culturing that person for about 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, then he became devotee, is, you can understand the path of devotion. But Maharaj Parikshit, he did not go to Gurukul, nothing. Right from his birth, he was a great devotee of the Lord. Right? Yet to be born, he became a devotee. Right? So, Prabhupada concludes that this is a Sukruti that he's carrying from a previous birth. Either he is a sadhana siddhi practicing or continuing from his previous birth, or he is a nitya siddhi who's descended along with Krishna to perform this pastime for our sake. In either case, it doesn't matter. What it matters is that practice of devotion gives you this highest benediction. Either you will perfect in sadhana siddhi or you will become a nitya siddha, go back home to God. Right? So that's the point you have to understand. Now we want to read this yellow paragraph, and we'll also read this green. Very interesting. We'll understand, the quality of devotion. Okay. Can I request one, any new volunteer, newcomers? They can get a chance. Otherwise, we'll give it to the regulars. No newcomers, no one to take it. Okay. Others, people who don't take generally, they can come forward to read so that there is good rotation for everyone to read.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, shall I read?
Read, Prabhu.
Yellow part is it not, Prabhu?
Yes, yes.
Lord certainly venerated family deities in the royal palace for worship. Children who appear in such families fortunately generally imitate
Okay.
such worship of the deities. Even in the way of childhood play, by the grace of Lord Sri Krishna, we had the chance of being born in a Vaishnava family. And in our childhood, we imitated the worship of Lord Krishna by imitating our father. Our father encouraged us in all respects to observe all functions such as the Ratha Yatra and Dola Yatra ceremonies.
Kola Yatra is the reverse Rath Yatra.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hmm.
And he used to spend money later liberally for distributing prasada to us children and our friends. Our spiritual master, who also took his birth in a Vaishnava family, got all inspirations from his great Vaishnava father, Thakura Bhaktivinoda. That is the way of all lucky Vaishnava families. The celebrated Mirabai was a staunch devotee of Lord Krishna as the great lifter of Govardhana hill. The life, shall I continue,
Yeah.
Prabhu?
Stop. Okay. So you see, uh, parents are Vaishnavas, and the children being born, right from day one, they're eating prasada. Right from day one, they're getting exposure to devotion service. So here it is said that Parikshit Maharaj, even in his childhood, he got many opportunities to play around with Krishna's dolls, play around with the Ratha of Krishna, play around with many of these things. It became spiritualized. That's the beauty. We saw the life of Srila Prabhupada, right? In his young age, he performed Rath Yatra with his friends, right? So you see how practice of devotion by us will also bring all our children into this. Some of our children may not take up devotion service now. They may be hesitating, thinking because of many factors, right? The many factors. And that is simply a matter of time that they'll pick it up because they have been now fed with prasad, they've been fed with attending festivals, they've been exposed to Krishna Katha, Harinam, Kirtan, many things. Just a matter of time they'll take it up. So we need to give time and patience for them to take it up. But otherwise, that's the opportunity. Okay. Now, I'll also talk about this devotee. Did you all hear the news that this Mataji, who is nothing but a sister of Rati Madri Mataji, not sister, niece. She's a niece of Rati Mataji. What's her name?
Pavani.
Pavani Ganga. Pavani Ganga, right?
Yashoda Pavani Prabhu.
Yashoda Pavani. Correct. So she left her body very recently. So, and we were discussing her life a lot. She, at a very young age, she left her body, and that too, she left her body in a very short period of time. It's not that she suffered in the bed for months or years, or something like that. A small event, she just left the body. Now, but if you look at her life, at a very young age only, she got initiation, she practiced devotion nicely, and she was singing so much of bhajans and kirtans, and she was in fact training many people also. Okay. Now, I was just discussing with Narga saying that, hey, she probably had some little bit left over, purification. She also, Krishna put her back into the material world. But look at her position. Right from birth, she was a devotee. Like that it was. Because when someone can get initiation at the age of, 12 or 13 or something like that, and practice devotion, you must have seen that such an young age she got devotion. And Krishna said, okay, you need to purify a little bit. You purify and then you're done with your life. You'll come back to God. And that's what he did with her. Right? This is exactly the opportunity. Based on our life, even if we don't complete our journey of liberation, we will be put into a family of Vaishnavas. Very, very conducive opportunity. We'll go back home, back to God. But Prabhupada says, don't risk that. In the current life, only you practice nicely and go back home, back to God. Don't risk of another birth. Because when Kala rotates, we don't know the Kala Chakra, how it will position us in the next birth. It may position us in an unfavorable situation or non-human birth or, I don't know, whatever it could be possible, right? So you can see Parishit Maharaj, right from birth, he was a devotee. Okay. Can someone read the green? Green is also very interesting to read. Yeah. Someone
Hare
come forward.
Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu. The life history of many such devotees is almost the same because there is always a symmetry between the early lives of all great devotees of the Lord. According to Jiva Goswami, Maharaj Parikshit must have heard about the childhood pastimes of Lord Krishna at Vrindavana, for he used to imitate the pastimes with his young playmates. According to Sridhara Swami, Maharaj Parikshit used to imitate the worship of the family deity by elderly members. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti also confirms the viewpoint of Jiva Goswami. So, accepting either of them, Maharaja Parikshit was naturally inclined to Lord Krishna from his very childhood. He might have imitated either of the above mentioned activities, and all of them established his great devotion from his very childhood, a symptom of Mahabhagavata. Such Mahabhagavatas are called Nitya Siddhas or souls liberated from birth. But there are also others who may not be liberated from birth, but who develop a tendency for devotional service by association, and they are called sadhana siddhas. There is no difference between the two in the ultimate issue, and so the conclusion is that everyone can become a sadhana siddha, the devotee of the Lord, simply by association with the pure devotees. The concrete example is our great spiritual master Sri Narada Muni. In his previous life, he was simply a boy of a maid servant, but through association with the great devotees, he became a devotee of the Lord of his own standard, unique in the history of devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. So, power of association is very clearly described. So, by power of association, one can strengthen their sadhana and you can become sadhana siddhi, right? This is the example, vivid examples that are being given here, right? So, the power of devotion is even if someone misses his chance, the next birth he will take. In fact, in Bhagavad Gita, in the Dhyana Yoga section, in the chapter 6, Arjuna is asking this question to Krishna. What is he asking? Oh, Krishna, you're talking about these practices, but what if this yogi becomes an unsuccessful yogi? Remember, we talked about who's an unsuccessful yogi? Even though he practiced, he still had material impurities in his heart. That's called an unsuccessful yogi. So, what happens to an unsuccessful yogi? He has given his life in practicing so hard, but somehow, because of material impurification in his heart, he is still not able to achieve perfection. What happens to him? Will he be doomed? Will he be fallen down? What happens to him? Is the question Arjuna asked Krishna. What did Krishna respond? Saying that he will be born among the family of Vaishnavas or among the situations of great opportunity in this material families or world where he can continue and practice and complete his devotion. So Krishna gives that much assurance. So everyone should practice devotion with great faith and with great involvement. Complete this journey. Now here, sloka number 15 talked about glories of Parikshit Maharaj. Now sloka number 16 will talk about position of Sukadeva Goswami. Now we'll read the sloka. Vayasakischa Bhagavan Vasudeva Parayanah Urgaya Gunodaraha Satam Syuhi Samagame. Sukadeva Goswami is the son of Vyasadeva, was also full of transcendental knowledge and was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, son of Vyasadeva. So, Vasudeva. So, there must be having a great discussion about Krishna was glorified by great philosophers and the company of devotees. Now, I'm not going to spend much on this sloka because There's only one word here you should understand is satam. Satam means pure devotee, right? Um, Life of Sukadeva Goswami, we have discussed a lot, that how he was born, how he went away from his father, how he realized by hearing the two slokas. Then back he came back and he learned the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. So if you see, Sukadeva Goswami heard Srimad Bhagavatam first from the conversation between Shiva and Parvati. Then Sukadeva Goswami heard Srimad Bhagavatam in his womb. Then again Sukadeva Goswami heard Srimad Bhagavatam as a proper training from his father. That means he is completely enriched with transcendental knowledge. And such a realized person is talking. So now look at the speaker. Speaker is fantastic. The student, Maharaj Parish, is also fantastic. And when such great people come together, that literature, that conversation is considered the purest form. It gives us the greatest devotional perfection of life. And that's the conclusion that has been given here. Okay. So now, if we go to sloka number 17 and 18 and 19, these slokas are setting the stage where devotees are asking questions about what about people who do not talk Harikatha, okay, who may do some good activities, and what is the position for them, right? So here in this conversation, they are distinguishing between topics that are connected to Lord Krishna, Hari, and topics outside of discussion of Lord Hari. Anything that's outside of Lord Hari. What is the effect between these two? Okay, that is the sloka number 17 to 19 onwards. We'll just read the translation. By rising and setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of every, except one who utilizes time by discussing topics of all personality of Godhead. Right? So Krishna created the sun, and if you look at the beauty of the sun, he did not create all these planets in a flat format, like a plate. If you see all the planets, no, they're all round in nature. They're like a ball. And they keep rotating. So the sun, what happens by just making it to rotate around it, it feels like time is changing. Kala Chakra is changing. Okay. 1 day over, 1 week over. When 1 day, 1 week, 2 days, 2 weeks over, we feel that we're getting old. When we're getting old, the duration of life gets compressed and then we complete it. That means during every duration of life, Krishna is giving us consciousness, mind, and activity. By these three things, we will see that how much are we utilizing ourselves in service of the Lord. If you don't, you'll see time is going away. Hey, time is going away. I can't. For example, you have an exam, right? I have 10 more days. Time is going away. I can't waste my time. I have to read now, otherwise I'll fail in the exam. So similarly, the movement of the sun is made in such a manner that we feel that we're getting old. Oh, if I get old, I will die. I will lose opportunity. And hence Krishna is trying to tell us the urgency of practice of devotion. Do not waste your time. Practice nicely. Every minute in this life, think about Krishna. Sing about Lord Krishna. Do your service for the pleasure of the Lord. That way, you will very quickly perfect yourself in this life. Right? So that is the most important aspect that he's trying to bring us. Okay. Now, in the next sloka, 3.18, no, 3.19, he's talking about what about people like trees? We will see that. Taravaha kim na jivanti, vastraha kim na swashanti, uta na kadanti na mehanti, kim grame pashavo apare. Do the trees not live? Do the bellows of the blacksmith not breathe? All around us, do the beast not eat and discharge semen? So, the point here is every activity in and around us is going on. We do not know what is the state of consciousness those are with. But whether we are present now, present tomorrow, you see these activities will continue to go on. There's nothing that you can stop about these activities. But what are you going to do? If you keep getting gazed about these material activities, oh, I have a role in this material activities, and you keep playing that role, you will see time is over. Right? And it is of no use. Right? So you will see now examples are being given here, like we possess ears. What is the purpose of ears? Is to hear Harikatha. Now let's say we hear unwanted prajalpa, someone talking unwanted topics, and we keep hearing it. So Bhagavatam is telling those are like snakes with ears. Do snakes have ears? No, they don't have ears. So similarly, if we have ears but hear material topics, it's equivalent to a snake having ears, which is of no use. Right? So that is the topic that he is bringing examples where he's saying any non-Harikatha topics, if you hear, what does they mean? So, for example, in sloka number 19, he says, men who are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses praise those men who never listen to transcendental pastimes of Lord Krishna, the deliverer from the evils. So, these are what whom, for example, you go to a ministerial topic, a minister will come, he doesn't have any qualities, but the introductory MC will glorify that minister as if he is Krishna. What is the use? Right? So, we shall not, and the best part is there is a minister who is atheistic, and there is an MC or a introductory person who will glorify that minister. But he says the biggest issue is there will be lakhs of asses and dogs and hogs who hear such topics. And what is the use? It's a mere waste of time. So, if you put this example about hearing, you can see what are we hearing in every day? How much of prajalpa, unwanted things that we are hearing? And how does it help us? Right? So, animal-like people are glorified profusely by not only, those people who are like dogs and pigs, but they are also building the consciousness of the person he is glorifying. So there is no point in hearing such mundane topics. So hence, the conclusion is, hear Harikatha. Don't waste yourself in listening to topics that will not save your life. It will only increase your lifespan of we staying in this material world. Right? So that is what has been explained here in sloka number 19. Now, if you take sloka number 20 to 24, it are giving various types of comparisons, right? So, for example, if you read the translation, it says, one who has not listened to the message about prowess and marvelous acts of personality Godhead. For example, we saw the marvelous acts of Krishna in Krishna Leela, Mahabharata, childhood pastime. We saw magnificent things. We can't hear them. Used to be considered possess ear holes like the holes of snakes. Ear holes of snakes cannot hear. They don't have anything. And the tongue like the tongue of a frog. What's the use? The tongue of a frog will only invite the snakes to come and eat them because he'll keep croaking. And he'll keep, lengthening the trunk to such large length to eat its prey. What's the use? It's a waste. So, sloka number 20 to 24 gives us various comparisons for different angas of the body. For example, what if the eyes are not used to see the form beauty of the Lord? It is like the plumes of the peacock. What is plumes of the peacock? If you see peacock feather, you will have eyes, no? Like round. Can they see? Even though they are called eyes, they cannot see. So he says, don't have blind eyes like that. Right? Then he'll say legs. Okay? If you can't have your legs move to the deities in the temples, then these are legs like the trunk of the tree. The trunk of the tree also looks like our legs, no? But they don't move anywhere. They just to be stationary, which is of no use. Right? So then he explains many analogies between our different angas of the body. If not used in service of Krishna, what are they? Right? So you can read the purpose from 20 to 24, which only talks about different angas of the body how they are engaged in material activities and not in service of Hari and Harikatha. We'll come to sloka number 24. Okay. So let's come to sloka number 24. Yeah. So we'll read sloka number 24 and 25, which is very, very important for us to understand the conclusion of practice of devotion to Krishna. Tadasmasaram hridayam batedam yat kriyamane harinamadeyaha na vikriyetata yada vikaro netre jalam gatra ruhushu harshaha. Certainly, that heart is steel framed. Whose heart? Our heart is steel framed. Why it is steel framed? Steel, if you see, if you keep a food item or something in a steel box, okay, whatever external environment, heat, cold, that is nothing will happen inside that vessel, the food item inside the vessel. It will protect it so hard. Now, if our heart is also inside a steel frame, then whatever good things happening around us about devotion practices, you will see it will never influence us. We will be like a steel framed heart. No, it's not penetrating at all. How much ever Harinam is going on, it's not penetrating. Say, hey, chod do ya. Right? So, which in spite of one chanting the holy name of Lord with concentration, does not change when ecstasy takes. Does not change at all. When ecstasy takes place, tears fill the eyes and the hair stands on the end. You're supposed to change. Your hairs are supposed to stand. And you're supposed to weep when you chant the holy names of the Lord. Why? Because when you chant the holy names of the Lord, oh Lord, I'm in separation of you. What am I doing here? Rather than serving you, I'm serving myself, I'm serving my senses. It is nonsense. So that is called as a heart in a steel frame. One devotee will ask, Prabhuji, I'm chanting for 10 years, 20 years. Still no taste, Prabhu. There's a problem. The heart in a steel frame. So, by associating with devotees, by really understanding the spirit of devotion and doing your services, slowly you will see your heart within a steam frame will change. The chanting of the holy name will penetrate your heart. The second sloka of Sikshashtakam, Nam Nam Akari Bahuda Nija Sharva Shakti. What does it? Krishna says, my name has the potency and I have invested all the energy, strength, capabilities in my name. Nija Sharva Shakti, Tatrarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kalaha, Yetadrishi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi, Durdhaivam Idarsham Iha Jani Nanuraga. So, even though I invested, and it is free, it is not that you have to purchase the holy name by paying some money. No, it's free. And are there any rules for chanting? No, there's no rules for chanting. Anytime, na kala, at all kala, at all times you can chant the holy name. At all circumstances you can chant the holy name. That means greatest potency is there in the holy name. There's no cost or fees to the holy name. Then there's no rules for chanting. Anytime you can go on chanting. It is so easy. And the last, Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtan, it offers the highest benediction to you. Still, I don't have taste for chanting. This is called a heart in a steel cage. Why I don't have taste for chanting? In the previous slokas, we referred about 26 qualities of devotees. These 26 qualities of devotees, none of these qualities have manifested because of our constant association with material world and material activities. Very disrespectful and very aggressive with others. Very offensive. So then what happens? My heart is in a steel frame. So this is the key that you have to understand. Right? A devotee who takes the name of Krishna, you will see his hair stand. A devotee who takes the names of Krishna, he will flood it with tears from his eyes. A devotee who takes the name of Krishna will be in ecstasy, will be dancing and chanting. He loves to sing. He loves to do it. That is what you have to understand. Okay? So we'll come to the last part of the sloka. is 3.25. Atabidehe angamano anukulam pravasashe bhagavata pradanaha yadaha vayya shakir atma vidya visharado nirpritam sadhu prishtaha. O Sutta Goswami, your words are pleasing to our minds. Please therefore explain this to us as it was spoken by the great devotee Sukadeva Goswami, who is very expert in transcendental knowledge and who spoke to Parikshit upon being asked. Knowledge explained by the previous Acharya like Sukadeva Goswami and followed by next by Sutta Goswami is always powerful transcendental knowledge. And it is therefore penetrating and useful to all submissive students. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purport of second canto, third chapter Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Pure Devotional Service, the Change in the Heart. To change the heart is very simple. So, we'll just run through this like a movie now. Please focus on this. That should be very strong in our heart. What is this? So, as Sukadeva Goswami started to conclude about Ashtanga Yoga, the end result of Ashtanga Yoga, the change of heart, the next chapter started where Sukadeva Goswami spotted that many people assembled in the arena could be having or could be practicing demigod worship. So what he did, he talked about demigods. Who are demigods? How do they get so much powers? How they're empowered by Krishna to do a particular activities? And he talked about the short duration of demigod worship and the destination of demigod worshippers. And he also talked about benediction, whether they are material or permanent or spiritual. He also talked about it. So he gave a clarity about demigod worship, its results. Then later on, after giving demigod worship and its results, with so much of depth, he concluded that one should practice devotion to Lord Krishna. And he also talked about the technique. There are great philosophers who changed their life from demigod worship to worship of Narayana. So what's difficult philosophers to Narayana worship. What's difficult for demigod worship to Narayana worship? Very easy. He talked about that. Then after that, he talked about the question where people are asking, please tell us more. Please tell us more about Harikatha. That's the eagerness the students are showing. So when the eagerness are showing, Sutta Goswami is now going to go to the next topic, which is called creation. Before going to the creation of topic, the position of Parikshit, how right from childbirth he was devotion. Sukadeva Goswami, how from childhood he was in devotion. When such great devotees are talking, when we listen to that, that's called association of devotees, how we transcend this life. He talked about that. So he talked about hearing of Harikatha from pure devotees. Then if you don't hear Harikatha, if you hear all other things like, okay, I will talk about things that are goodness and things like that, what happens? Then he gave examples of our indriyas, that means our senses. When we don't hear Harikatha, when we don't see forms of the Lord, when we don't use our ears in Harikatha, when we don't use our tongue in Harikatha, then what is it equivalent to? So it means the body that we possess is a mercy of the Supreme Lord of Lord Krishna. So if we have these various karmendriyas and jnanendriyas, if we don't use that in Harikatha, what is it that equals to? Sukadeva Goswami is concluding here. So these narrations are being explained by Sutta Goswami to the sages of Naimisharanya when Shaunaka Rishi is asking that question. Now Shaunaka Rishi is representative of all the sages. He is asking, now what next? Please tell, what is he going to speak next? We want to hear more. So that eagerness leads to chapter number 4, which is called process of creation. Right? So I will end here and we'll take up any questions so that we can go into process of creation. Process of creation is very, very interesting. The next chapter, we will see how material creation actually happened, under what circumstances it happened, and what did Parikshit Maharaj do, right? We will see that in more detail, and we will now take up some questions.
Means the chapter will explain why the Lord created made such creation.
So Gandharvika is asking, does the next chapter mean why Lord created? Why Lord created this material world? So he's asking. So we'll see that in the next chapter. How and the reasons for creation. Right? Now, in chapter 2, you'll only see a summary of creation, but the detailness of creation you will see in only Canto 5. Okay? So, chapter 2, in fact, chapter 3 also, there's some aspects of creation being discussed. Chapter 2 also, some aspects of creation being discussed. But Canto 5, not chapter, cantos. So, Canto 5, you will see very detailness of entire creation. I'm talking about material creation. I'm not talking about spiritual creation. Okay? So we will end here. Grandraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. So any questions, we can take it up.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams.
Nandras Pranam.
Thanks for the wonderful class, Prabhu. Prabhu, I understood why demigod worship should not be, I mean, it's not beneficial. But people, some of my BV members are asking, they are telling it is given in the Vedas and it is told by the Lord only. So, how to explain to them without offending their practices, Prabhu?
Mataji is very simple. Lord Krishna in chapter 3 talks about a beautiful arrangement between the living entities and demigods. Okay. So he said, the living entities to live successfully in this material world, they have to perform yajna. Different yajnas are being mentioned. By performing a yajna, what happens? You please the demigods. Then what demigods will do? They'll benedict you. For example, with good rains, with good sunshines, with good soil, with good minerals, with good flow of water. All these things are being mentioned. And how you can take fertilizers, everything is being mentioned. So, this is a method mentioned for one to live successfully while in the material world. Okay.
Yes,
By not pleasing the demigods, the living entities, by not pleasing the demigods, they will be deprived of such opportunities. When they are deprived of such opportunities, the material life for them will be a little bit of a struggle. Right? For example, a desert. Right? So, desert is deprived of water. Gayatri, what are you doing? So, a desert is deprived of water. If this is deprived of water, where is vegetation? Where is people, living? Where are the cows? Nothing is possible, right? So Krishna is talking about in the Veda Shastra a beautiful arrangement between the living entities and the gods so that they can live happily in this material world. But that is not the goal of life. The goal of life has two aspects. First, all the material benediction should be used in service of Lord. That is the real purpose of material life. If material life is not connected to service of Lord, then what happens? This material life is standalone. It is going to make you to become an enjoyer, an independent entity. So that is not the goal of life. The goal of life is to serve that Supreme Lord Krishna. So, after you got your material opulence, use that in service of Krishna, and that becomes perfect. So, worship of demigod, getting material benediction is only first step. But there are two other steps that you need to do. And that is what is not aware to people now. And hence we are teaching you that. Got it, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. But
Now I'm making a nice, let's say, rose garden now. Okay. I made a nice rose garden, very beautiful. I'm able to, make money out of it, all fine. But that's only part one. But where is part two? Use that in service of Lord. That is what we're teaching you.
yes, Prabhu, still we will be telling them to do demigod worship in the first step, Prabhu.
We don't tell them to do demigod worship. We tell them straight away to practice worship devotion because we are talking about step 2. But while we are talking about step to practice of devotion, we don't tell them to stop demigod worship, because at some point in time, higher taste will lead you to lose your lower taste. Okay.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
for example, let's say you are wearing a very ordinary clothing for every day. Let's say you're wearing saris, which are only 300 and 400 rupees. Very ordinary they look, right?
Yes.
At some point in time, you got opulence. You earned money. You start to wear good quality Reshmi saris. Okay.
Yes.
But after wearing Reshmi saris, will you come and wear this 200 rupees ordinary sari?
No, Prabhu.
No.
Yes.
But I didn't force you. Change
Yes.
consciousness, automatically you acquire higher taste. You let go lower taste. So when you worship Lord Narayana, your taste for demigod worship automatically will go away, because it is like offering tulsi to a boga, where it fulfills Lord Narayana, it also fulfills. The demigods are pleased now. Okay, my objective is done. I'll retract. I'll go back. So automatically we are moved towards worship of Narayana. That's the point.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandvat pranams. Thanks for the wonderful class, Prabhu. Prabhu, same in my BV class, one devotee, she chants 16 rounds, follows all the four regulative principles from quite some time. But if we call her to come home and participate in the satsang, she says, no, I have a lot of work at home. I can't come. And further, she's not progressing, Prabhu. She chants every day 16 plus.
Pause here. Please bring questions relevant to the topic that we talked about.
Okay.
These are BV related questions. These we'll talk about it later on.
Okay.
If you have questions connected to the subject matter we're discussing here,
But I wanted to find out this demigod worship. Another, generally, Prabhu, they're all Shiva worshippers. Many of our baby devotees who come to our satsang, how to slowly bring them to.
that is BV question. BV question. Please leave that. Okay.
Okay.
So if you have any doubts on the topic that we discussed, let's bring about that topic.
Okay.
Otherwise, we will lose traction on what we discussed.
Yes. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Dandavat pranam, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Dandavat pranam, Prabhu. Thank you very much for the wonderful class, Prabhu. Sukadeva Goswami heard Srimad Bhagavatam from Ishvara and Parvati also, Prabhu.
Yeah, that's the first. When he was a bird, he's Sukha. Sukha means parrot. So as a parrot, when he was flying around, he saw that Lord Shiva was narrating Srimad Bhagavatam to Mother Parvati. Okay. And he immediately sat on the tree and he was hearing that. At some point in time, Mother Parvati became, sleepy in nature, and she just dozed off. Okay. Now, generally, in a conversation, what happens? When Lord Shiva is telling, let's say, a narration, a particular pastime narration, then you will see that the listener or the student will say, yes, yeah, correct, correct. So he will acknowledge every comment.
Yeah.
Since the Mother Parvati went off into doze mode, that means she went off asleep, the Sukha, who was sitting as a parrot, he said, who. And Lord Shiva thought, okay, she's hearing, and then he kept on narrating the entire pastime.
Yeah.
So that's how that pastime manifested. And he heard the entire pastime from Lord Shiva. And who's Lord Shiva? Lord Shiva is Krishna himself.
Yes.
Sada Shiva, the expansion form as Lord Shiva. Yes, Shiva. So hearing from Krishna himself that pastime.
Yeah.
That's the opportunity he got.
Okay. So nice. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, any other question? Okay. Thank you all. I hope you had all a beautiful Radha Janmashtami festival. This year I was not taking direct participation in our centers. I was only doing background planning and discussions. But next year I will be. So congratulations and thank you for all the volunteers, the leaders who did a fantastic festival this time. And your service to Krishna is well appreciated, and Krishna always reciprocates. Okay. So we'll now have some Mishta Goshti and then some volunteer recognition ceremonies and things like that. And that way we will, bond more. We'll increase our, relationships, and we'll work towards the mission much more stronger. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you much so much. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Guru
Jai.
jai. Nitai Gaur Prema.
Dr. Ramanand, Hari Hari.
Very good.
Kripa Sindhu Bhyavacha. Patitanam Pavanebhyo.
Vaishnavebhyo.
Ananta Koti
Vaishnava
Vaishnava
ki jai.
Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Hare Krishna. Om
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna Dandavat Pranam.
Tanush Pranam. Tanush.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Tanush Pranam.
Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Dandavat Pranam.
Tanush.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Dandavat Pranam.
Tanush
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Tanush
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Tanush Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dandavat Pranam.
Tanush Pranam.
Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Tanush Pranam.